Hi, we're here today to go over how to do the 1920s People Project. And before we even begin, I want to encourage you to take a look at two documents that you can find on Moodle, one being the 1920s People Project Facebook page directions. This will tell you everything you need to know about the project and how to do it, and also the 1920s People Project Facebook page research outline sheet. This will tell you exactly how to conduct research, and this is a document that you're actually going to use. So we'll show you how to get that on Google Classroom. Finally, you should pay attention to the citing sources, EasyBib, and footnotes, directions, and examples. And that will tell you exactly what your source citing should look like and exactly how you're going to do it. So before we begin, I just want to bring your attention to those documents. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the 1920s People Project Facebook page directions. If you look at the direction sheet, it'll tell you all about your partner. You should exchange information with your partner. You should also fill out the due date. If you see your calendar, that will tell you exactly when it's due. We've got the purpose on here and some suggested resources. So the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the suggested resources. You don't have to use these resources. In fact, you may use other resources, but if you look at the suggested resources link on Moodle, I think you'll find a little bit better information, at least for some of the sources. Other than that, you can use any legitimate source. So don't use lookitup.com or answers.com or Ask Jeeves or Wikipedia or anything like that. Please make sure you are using legitimate sites. The second thing you'll see is directions on how to actually conduct your research, and a big part of this is making sure that you properly cite your information. Every photo, every video, every picture, or every bit of information that you use for your project must be cited, and this will tell you exactly how to do that. We're also going to go through that in our video. The next thing that you want to do is look at how to create and submit a Facebook page. We're going to show you exactly what you're going to do using Google Classrooms and how to do this. The next step tells you about the presentation you're going to do. Your presentation is actually going to be fairly quick, 3 to 4 minutes. It should be creative in any way, and you can do it however you want, but you should tell me sort of the context of where does your person fit in to the 1920s. Not only why are they famous and what did they do, but why is this important to the time period? Again, there's no real set criteria other than I want you to be creative. You can use your Facebook page, you can use other methods to present to us, but just make sure that you're getting the main points in the context of where they fit in. You should also practice in advance. Don't wait until you get there. This is not one of those things that you're going to figure out at the last minute. In addition, you shouldn't just be reading off the screen. If you just read off your PowerPoint, that's not going to work out either. You're going to lose a lot of points for that. There is one part of the project that is an individual part, must be completed individually, and that is the project reflection. So please make sure that you pay attention to the directions for project reflection. This is part of the project that you are not going to do in a group. Every person must individually reflect on this project. So just to review, there are 3 things that you are turning in. Number 1, you are turning in the 1920s People Project Research Outline Sheet. You only need one of these per group. You are going to submit this on Google. You are going to print this one out, and you are going to give me a printed copy in class. The second thing you're going to turn in is the completed Facebook page submitted on Google Classroom by 7 a.m. on the due date. You can also do it earlier, obviously. I'd recommend earlier. Again, I only need one per group. And the third thing that you're going to turn in, the individual project reflection individual assignment. So again, this project reflection question that we have up here, you need to do that on your own and submit that as an individual. The next thing we're going to go over is how to actually conduct your research. So you've got this idea, you've picked a person from the list and signed up, and now you actually need to do the research. So the first step of doing research is signing into your student account. If you're using your Chromebook, you're probably already signed in which case you need to go to drive.google.com, which will bring you to a page that looks something like this. You want to pay attention to the box that says Create with the little arrow. You're going to click on Create, and then the next step is to make a folder and call it 1920s People Project. That way you know where you're going to store all your documents and photos. The next thing you want to do is go to classroom.google.com. We've probably already done this in your class, but if we haven't, to join our class, you're going to click on the plus sign, you're going to click on join a class, and then you're going to enter your code, which you can find on Moodle. My guess is we've already done this for your class and you already know how to use Google Classroom. So once you get to Google Classroom, you're going to open the assignment 1920s People Project Facebook page research outline sheet. And the key part is the research outline. So once you get to the research outline, you'll be able to start tracking the information that you're doing. Now I know I gave you a printed copy in class. You're more than welcome to take notes and write down scrap on that paper, but the final copy that you're going to turn in is going to be a printed copy typed up of the research outline sheet. So you're going to look at that. You're going to open the research outline sheet by clicking on the document. Once you click on that document, you're going to go through websites. You're going to use legitimate sources, and you are going to find images as well as information that you need. And so if you want to save an image, whenever you find an image that you like, what you're going to do is right-click on that image, or if your Chromebook doesn't have a right-click button, you're going to double-tap. And what that means is hold your fingers apart, 2 fingers apart slightly, and tap them on the mouse pad at the same time. And that will bring up this little window that looks like this. Once you bring up that window, you are going to click on Save Image As, and then you are going to select, it's going to ask you where you want to save it. You're going to select the folder that you just created, the 1920s People Project folder. That way you know exactly where all your information is saved. The next step is you want to make sure that you cite this photo that you've gotten. So you're going to go to the website easybib.com. I really don't care which citation style you use. You can use MLA, you can use APA, Chicago style. If there's something else you prefer, you're welcome to use that. But I think most of you are familiar with MLA. I think that's what your English teachers use. And so I'd recommend maybe sticking with that. So you're going to type in your citation, you're going to type in the website, or if you do a book, it'll tell you what to type in, a newspaper, what to type in, journal database, or something else, and you're going to type in your information there. Click on the button that says Cite It, and then it will give you a citation that looks something like this. So we've cited the Roaring Twenties from historychannel.com. Once you have entered your information, and once you've clicked on Cite It, once it gives you your citation here, the next step is to click on Copy and Paste Citation. That way we can use that to paste into our Google document that we have just created while we're actually typing in the information. So we're then going to go to our 1920s People Project Research Outline sheet, and when you get to that, what you're going to do is you are going to click on Insert. And wherever you want to put the footnote, and we'll show you how you're going to do this in a second, you're going to click on Insert, you're going to click on Footnote, and then at the same time press the Control+V button, and that will paste the footnote that you have just created in there. And so we'll take a look at how you do this in real life in a second. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go back to my search engine. I'm going to do a Google search. Maybe I want to search for Abraham Lincoln. I find this nice photo of Abraham Lincoln that I want to use, and so what I'm going to do is click on Save Image As, and when I click Save Image As, it's going to bring up some information. I'm going to save it to my Google Drive. Because I'm not using a Chromebook, it's actually giving me a different option, but if you're using Google, it'll ask you to save to your Google Drive. And then the next thing you want to do is go to the image itself. And so if we go to the image itself, if we get a copy of the image, we can see that this image came from biography.com/people/Abraham Lincoln. You get the idea. So what you're going to do is click on Control+C, which is going to copy that URL. Then we're going to go to easybib.com. We're going to say we're citing MLA, we're citing a website, and we're going to click Control V in order to paste that. It's then going to click on Cite It. It's gathering our information. We're going to click on Cite This. We're going to click on Continue to the final step. You would type in this information if you could add it. We're going to click Create Citation. And voila, here at the bottom we see our citation. Bio.com, A&E Networks, Television, etc. So once you get to that, what we want to do is we want to cite that. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy and paste it. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to Control C, which will copy it. And then we're going to go to our Google Drive. When we get to Google Drive, we're going to click on Research Outline. And you only have to do this the first time. After that, it should be saved in your Google Drive. And that's giving me my teacher version. Let's get you the student version. We're going to click on the document itself. And we've got the research outline sheet. And so what you want to do, wherever you want to type your information, let's say that we're going to write that Abe Lincoln was a president. Now we need to cite that. So we didn't know that on our own. We need to cite that information. So we're going to click Insert. We're going to click Footnote. And then it's going to put the little number 1 there showing us the footnote. And then at the bottom it's asking us where to type our text. We're going to hit Control V. And then we're going to paste our source in there. So we have now cited this source. Let's say we come up with something new. Abe Lincoln also went to Ford's Theater, which you can go to if you go to the close-up trip. Now we would probably get this information from a different source, but even if it was the same source, we're going to do the same thing. Insert. We're going to click on Footnote. Now it created a number 2 telling us we used a different site for this information. And again, we're going to copy and paste our information in there. And so that's how we're going to cite our sources. For everything you do, you need to cite. You need to cite the date of death and where you got that from, place of death, where did you get that from, the cities they lived in, where you got that from. And then anytime it asks you for a picture, you want to tell me why you chose the picture, a brief description of the picture, and then you also want to use the citation for the picture there so that we know exactly what you're citing. So that's how you're going to cite your sources. The next step, the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to create our Facebook page. And so in order to create the Facebook page, we're going back to classroom.google.com. Again, we've already entered our information so we know how to get in. We're going to click on our class. And then once we do that, we will see the 1920s People Project Facebook page. Once you get to that, you're going to click on that. It's going to give you the assignment. We're going to click on the actual slide itself. And then once we click on the slide itself, we're going to get a page that looks like this. Now please note that there are more than one page and you need to fill out all the pages. It's not just the front page. You need to fill out the second part, the third part, the fourth part, the fifth part, the sixth part, so on and so forth. So please make sure that you edit the entire document and not just the first page. So once we go on there, we're going to have to do some editing because we clearly don't want this picture. We don't want Katie Feldman in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the picture, or if it's something that's not a picture, if it's one of these little boxes like down here we get a yellow box, we're going to right click on the photo, or we're going to click on a box and we're going to click on Replace Image. And then once we click on Replace Image, we're going to click on Insert. Then we're going to Insert Image. And then we're going to go to My Drive. We're going to go to the 1920s People Project folder that we've created. And then we're going to select the photo that we want to use. So once you click on the photo you want to use, that is going to insert that photo into your document. Now for some of these, like the little colored boxes, you're going to need to resize. You don't have to make the photo so small that it fits on the little red dot. You can make it a little bit bigger and you can just readjust the page. Whatever you want to do to make it look good, that's all that really matters. So we've got our photo pasted in here. We're going to have to resize, and we want to move it on top of the colored boxes. Again, it can be a little bit bigger. As long as it looks good, that's all that matters. Once you resize your image, you're going to type in your information. You're going to replace what they had there, and you are going to use that to make your point. So we're going to click on the text. We're going to edit the text, and then we're going to continue doing that for the entire project. When you're finished with the entire project, when you're done, when you're ready to turn it in, you're going to go back to Google Classrooms. Again, we're going to log in like we normally would, and then we're going to go to Turn In. So you want to click on the Turn In button. Once you click on the Turn In button, it's going to submit the document that you've already created, and then you are going to basically have it turned in, and I'm going to be able to grade it. So just to refresh, you're going to turn in the Facebook page online. You are going to print out a copy of the research outline and turn that in class. Finally, the last part is the presentation, and we've already talked a little bit about how to do the presentation. Again, it should be fairly quick, 3 to 4 minutes. If you have any other questions about how to do this project, please reread the Facebook page directions and reread the Facebook page research outline sheet. I think it's really important that you read this stuff before you submit your project. Even though you read it before you started, before you turn it in, just double check, make sure that you've got everything that you need for the project, and I look forward to grading it. Have a wonderful